Les cuento que el canal de la revista 442 de Inglaterra, una de las revistas de fútbol más reconocidas de ese país, hizo un análisis de por qué Jhon Duran no es titular con el Aston Villa. Aquí les traigo subtitulado, traducido. Ese análisis está muy bueno, no se lo pierdan. No olviden de suscribirse, darle like al video, el pulgarcito me ayuda mucho para que crezca el canal. También dejen su comentario, me gusta leer sus comentarios, a veces les contesto, a veces dependiendo del tiempo, y ustedes a veces empiezan su propia charla y eso. Por favor, con respeto, no se insulten. También les quiero contar que esta revista 442 lo sacó en la portada Lucho Díaz hace 2 semanas, no sé si supieron, ahí está. Y bueno, los dejo, disfruten el video, no olviden darle like al video. Hasta pronto.
Jhon Duran. He is not more than a striker, he is pure, uncut, $80 million street value goal scoring brilliance. You look at his numbers over the last year, his chance conversion rate and his goals per minute are astonishing. And this stat here, his goals per 90 minutes, doesn't just put him in the top 1% of the Premier League, that's the top 1% across all of Europe over the last 365 days. And even here, when you allow other players to have their assists count towards this, he's still in the top 3%, despite having 0 assists. And the main reason for that is because he has not had these instincts coached out of him. He retains some of just the best goal-scoring impulses you could ever hope to see. You can look at almost any goal he scores for Aston Villa and find something in there that just is not teachable. And in the Bologna game, it's this pinning of the central defender. Now, we'll pause it just as Rodgers puts the cross in, right? This is where it's going to land. Now, if Durán does what you teach centre forwards to do, get a bit of separation, drop half a yard away, and then try to run in front, the defender's going to beat him to it. He's that side. He won't let him run across him. He'll just grab again. Or more likely, just clear it, because it's right where he is. So instead, what Durán does is he just holds him and he drags him the yards required to get himself a little bit of leverage in the space to get the shot. Like, genuinely, you would never ever coach that, because it's just such a rare scenario that in all likelihood you probably wouldn't win, or you'd be really likely to foul the defender. It's not something anyone's ever going to tell you to do. You just have to think to do it. And then the finish as well, you can see by how much further around he hooks his leg. He is going for that side, which again, instinctively, 99% of forwards would just want to get any sort of contact on that and hope it's too close for the goalie to react. Like, how many times have you seen a chance like this go here because it's just stick a foot at it and hope for the best, but not when it comes to Durán? His brain is different. Now, for his long ranges as well, it's also a combination of incredible ball striking combined with the fact that he just actually tries them. My actual favorite bit of his stats, though, is all the physicality stuff, like the tackles, the blocks, the clearances, the aerials, when he's not particularly effectively used in Villa's system, which we're going to get onto. So he's not doing like a defensive forward role. He just throws himself into situations. If the ball's in the air, he tries to win it. If the ball's loose, he tries to win it back. Like, it is unrefined sort of physical carnage, but he's a unit and it helps him score goals. The best asset he's got, though, other than that absolute cannon of a left foot, right, is movement. Like, he's constantly working off the ball, constantly getting into different positions to give himself the best possible opportunity to score a goal. This is my favorite Jhon Duran goal, right? No centre forward now with correct coaching would think about taking a shot on here. This is sort of an option, and maybe this is an option. And what you should do with his back to goal is hold it and wait for things to sort of open up. But he thinks, no, I'm really good at just smashing it, so I'm just going to smash it. The Liverpool goal as well, this is an immediate drop and go option if he keeps a hold of it because he's worried about Van Dijk, which he should be. There's an overlap to roll it off into, then he can spin, but instead he decides, I'll get it under control and see if I can shoot. And even when he does get it under control and opens up the shot, this is an option for him, and this is an option for him, arguably better than the shot. And Callum Chambers, he wants a go because he's possibly in a better shooting position on his right foot. But no, not Jhon Duran. Those 3 players don't exist. He just hits it and it goes in. But of course, then if you look at his passing numbers, they are pathetic. Like, 0 assists in the last year, virtually no passes into the penalty area. Not one tiny thought in his head about putting a teammate in. If he is in the sort of position where a pass would lead to somebody having a great chance, then he knows that he's already got a good one. 0.04 expected assists per 90, right? And just to do some maths for you, with those numbers, if Jhon Duran played every minute of every game for Aston Villa in the Premier League, it would take him 25 games to get 1 assist. But of course, that doesn't matter because this is his goal scoring rate, and just to maths that in the exact same way, in the time it would take Jhon Duran to get that 1 assist, do you know how many goals he would score? 42. Thereabouts. And obviously it doesn't work that way, it's just data, and if he did play every game it wouldn't be like that in real life. But his current conversion rates, based on the minutes he's playing, he would score 42 goals to every 1 assist. So then, Aston Villa have got on their hands one of just the most lethal finishers of a footing ball in the world. Why does he not start more? Do they not want those 42 goals? Well, my dear friends, there is a reason that is happening. None of the major footballing nations are coaching their strikers to play like a Jhon Duran because the game is now so much more structured and system-based. Ollie Watkins is an excellent finisher. On his day, the equal of Durán, I would argue, but he plays a far more important role than just scoring goals. He's constantly running off the ball to drag opposition defenders out of various positions to allow any of these 4 players to start to fill them. Like particularly this season, he's been doing loads of central running to push the centre-backs back and drag defensive midfielders with him, which is why Morgan Rogers has looked really good. He's been dribbling the ball through those spaces created by Watkins. Basically, the simplest way to think of it is that Ollie Watkins is constantly thinking about his position and his movement relative to all of his teammates, whereas Jhon Duran will be thinking about his position and his movement relative to the ball and the goal. I'll give you a bit of a weird example, right? Because I thought Villa were good against Bologna, totally deserved to win that game, but I wouldn't have said they were at their fluid best, right? And Jhon Duran's impression of link-up play looked like this. So this is his heat map, and you see a big splodge here, right? And that's because he kept dropping into this area, just with his back to goal all the time, getting the ball, and then laying it off right here to Morgan Rogers before turning and sprinting into the box. He did this, I think, 5 times, the exact same repetition of movement, because to him, that's what link-up play is. Now, on the one hand, that is just terrible combination work, but on the other, it does show that he is learning this side of the game, that he recognises he's going to start having to add a few extra strings to his bow, despite, you know, that never having come up before. And it really hasn't. Like, Durán spent his entire adolescence and all of his development in Colombia, in South America, where they would have thought it was great that he was just banging in all of these chances. And then when he was like 18, he moved to MLS. Do you think any of the coaches at Chicago Fire were going to look at somebody who was already rated as one of the best young players in the world and would have said, oh, hey, listen, buddy, you're going to have to learn how to play false 9. No, I don't think that would have happened. I think they would have just let him do whatever he liked. So yeah, that is just like a little video on Jhon Duran and Aston Villa. The reason it feels like you're watching something incredibly special when he plays is because these days, you are. And I've got no doubt whatsoever that Unai Emery, being the terrific, fantastic coach and developer of footballers that he is, will make him a more complete, well-rounded centre-forward. But also, I think he shouldn't. But I don't want that. I don't want him to be a better all-round centre-forward. I just want him to be just a really Aggie, hammer it every chance I get striker. But they were up so quick, don't they?